Hi, everybody. My name is Taylor Spaziani, and I'm the Denver director here at the Sexual Health Alliance. Today, I'm here with Julia and the lovely virtual background that she is in. Thank you for being here with us, Julia. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So, to get started, do you want to just tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Julia. I'm a trans woman. I think I began um, my transition probably about 12 years ago. And I'm 66 and retired, which is very nice in this particular time because I was already kind of sheltering at home anyway. So it
Yeah,
didn't seem to be that big of a deal to me.
right, right. Not too much of an adjustment. Yeah.
No.
Thank you for sharing. Do you want to share with us a little bit about maybe some top three bucket list items that you have?
Well, that's kind of tough. I've taken care of most of my bucket list already.
Yeah,
I mean, it's no sense in waiting until the last minute, but
right.
probably the one thing I haven't done is I'd like to go to Europe.
Oh, yeah,
That would be, I've traveled out of the country a little bit, but never any place really cool.
right.
And there's all that history there and would
Yeah,
like to travel there.
it's such a cool place. Definitely something I think everybody should explore in their lifetime.
Yeah. And there's some other parts of the world I wouldn't mind visiting too. Yeah.
Right, of course. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. So one of my favorite questions that I like to ask people within our field is, who would be your gender or sexuality role model?
Without a doubt, it would be Janet Mock.
Oh,
She's intelligent. She's beautiful. She's an activist. Just everything about her is she's just a really fantastic person. And I did get to see her talk one time live. Um, it was cool.
oh wow, that
Yeah.
sounds really powerful. Awesome. So, in your everyday life, Julia, what are some of your most important everyday values?
Probably honesty, integrity, accountability is big with me, because we all make mistakes and some people live up to them and other people just kind of don't. I don't
Yeah,
really appreciate that. It's,
right. I totally agree. It's an important value for me as well.
hmm.
So, I have a question for you about your role in as being a trans woman. What are some ways that people have tried to be an ally to you, but might have missed their mark in doing so?
Well, that's a hard question really for me. I guess when I first transitioned, my sister tried to be pretty supportive, but was missing the mark, as you might say,
Right.
a bit. She wanted me to keep my original dead name as my middle name, and she didn't seem to understand that I didn't want to associate that. Or wanted it part of my new name. Trying to think of another time that something like that happened. Oh, just in general, like some of my cis friends and other cis women I know giving me clothes and trying to be supportive in that way, but not necessarily knowing that I wouldn't like any of the stuff that they wear, and you can't really say that to them. It's like,
Right.
yeah, thanks so much, but I really don't want those.
Right. It wasn't authentic to your style.
Right.
Absolutely. I can totally understand that.
And I kind of understand, I mean, they wouldn't know what my style was.
Yeah,
So and they were trying to help, but in the
absolutely.
long run, it really wasn't very helpful for me.
It came from a good place, just didn't
Yeah.
quite hit the mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate it. So when do you think would be a time that a person might have provided an unexpected allyship to you that maybe you hadn't thought about before it happened?
Well, before I I started my transition before I came out at work.
Oh,
So I was living kind of a dual life for quite a while where I kept my business life as my old self. And it was pretty difficult switching back and forth. But um, I remember when the time finally came that I did have to come out, I decided, well, I'm changing my name legally.
hmm.
People are going to figure this out sooner or later. So I might as well just, do it. And one of the vendors that I worked with, I went to pick up some hardware from this vendor that I dealt with a lot. And I told her, I said, well, you may notice that my name is going to change because I changed it with your home office. And, I told her that I was transitioning and everything. And she came around the counter, came out and hugged me like a real hug, not like just a pat on the back hug, but just like a real hug. And said, I was so happy for you. I kind of noticed there were some changes in you over the last few months. And I'm just so happy for you. And she was like, from that point on, she was always the best. I mean, she just would be really friendly and helpful to me every time I saw her. I could tell everything was real genuine that she was saying. And it gave me a lot of courage because um, I was in like kind of a male dominated field. Most of my vendors and people that I picked up material from were all men. And
Hmm.
I thought, you know, this is going to be really hard. A lot of them are going to be really weird. And it just gave me courage to move on. So it was really awesome. It really made me feel good.
Yeah, that's touching. It sounds very genuine and supportive.
Yeah,
So awesome. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing. Well, speaking of allyship, maybe can you discuss three ways, in your opinion, that somebody could be an ally to trans individuals, non binary, or gender diverse individuals?
sure. Like the number one thing is, of course, is the pronouns, getting the pronouns right. And, that's kind of the obvious one, but it is kind of hard with non-binary people. Even for people in the community, seem to mess those up a lot, myself included. So really trying is important. The other thing is, um, let's see, um, educating yourself so people don't have to educate you.
Right.
There's a lot of words written about this out there now, and there's a lot of people that have written their stories and told their stories and taken some time to read stories, even for people in our community, to read other stories about other trans people to understand where they're coming from, because we all come from kind of different places in the world, and our transition stories are a lot different, and how we got to point A and point B is different. I think just educating yourself in general about all that is really important. You shouldn't rely on trans people to have to educate you ahead of time. And the last one is, I mean, for me, um, and it would, I was self-employed. I had my own business, and having people be supportive to me in my business was exceptionally important, because I really thought that I would lose my business once I transitioned. And the fact that it didn't happen was really awesome, and most people really could have cared less, which surprised me a lot.
Right.
And that's a really important way. Now, it may not be that you own a business, but you might work with people and, standing up for them, making sure that other employees are being respectful would be a really important way. So make it so that their work life, because that's really where we spend a lot of our time,
Mhm.
isn't stressful. And I know a lot of trans people that was their main issue, was coming out at work and how hard it was going to be. And
Yeah,
sometimes it was good and sometimes it was not. So, yeah.
absolutely. Totally, totally feel that and hear that. Thank you for sharing those. And last but not least, I kind of just wanted to roll the red carpet out for you, and give you an opportunity to share with the world what you're passionate about, what you're working on, or what you'd like anybody to check out.
Boy, that was one I don't really have a great answer for. Well, I'm passionate about making the world a better place for trans people. I
Yeah.
do advocate in our community. I do a lot of volunteering. Um, you know, it was hard for me. I would like to not be hard for other people. I don't know that we'll really see that in our lifetimes, but there's always that starting spot. It really is better for people now than it was even 10 years ago. Um, so passionate. What was the other one?
Just
Passionate.
anything you were passionate about, or anything that you're working on, or anything that you would like the world to know about you, or check out any of your work, or anything like that.
No, I think that covers it.
Awesome. Well, that was a really positive note to end on, Julia. I wanted to thank you so much for spending the time with me today, for being here and answering my questions. And I know it's much appreciated for all the people watching this interview as well. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you for doing this.